Hello, hello, hello again, everybody. This is AltJake. You're listening to AltJake Takes On. My buddy George and I are back with another classic match review. These seem to be going well. People are enjoying them. We're getting some suggestions for other matches that people want us to review and go back and watch. So if there's any matches that like your favorite personal match, or a match that you had a really great time watching with friends, or a match maybe you want to hear us discuss and talk about with a build up or what happens after or whatever, put it in the comments, please. Like, share it with your friends. We're trying to be pro wrestling conversationalists. We want to drive conversation and have people talking about them. So we're really excited to kind of go for our next one here. But let me bring on George first here. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good.
Awesome. So, we decided to kind of go with the match. The last couple we had done, we went to matches that we had been at, but unless you're like green shirt guy or the old Rick, the sign guy, not many people get to see that many classic matches live. Although I do have a couple under my belt from some matches that I've been to, but we decided to go with one that's a little bit more kind of current in the sense, just because they're about to have what's probably going to be their final title match. So CM Punk versus John Cena. We went the one from Money in the Bank 2011, the one that is right after the pipe bomb promo, the one that leads to the two champion situation, the Summer of Punk, the one that really, honestly, it leads to the Cult of Personality. Not only the song, but
Skittles.
Yeah, right. Hey, at least it's not like one of those weird, what was the fat thing? The fat Stacker 2. Oh man. I always saw the Stacker 2 fat burning stuff. I always remember that. But yeah, I feel like Skittles was at least something that's a little bit more, mainstream versus some of that weird stuff they would have. I've been, was it like the Chef Boyardee commercials they used to do? Oh man. But this match was big because, like I was saying, this is the one right after the pipe bomb. And so it's really kind of leading into Punk kind of being Punk. This is when this leads to his, the 434 days that he was champion. But it was
official. Is this the official last time he had Kill Switch Engage, or is there?
I believe so.
After this,
no, I believe so, because what happens is they have he wins and he goes, and then we can get into it towards the end of it. Yeah, right. Well, spoiler alert for a what is it, a 15-year-old match or 14-year-old match. But the thing is, it's like the only issue I have with the situation was that he came back too fast. But it made sense because they wanted to have it for a SummerSlam match, which is coming up. But because this is where he goes away and then comes back and has that deal that he made with Vince for where they had that, where I forget the exact contract signing of it, but Cult of Personality is a part of that. So maybe that first time that he comes back, I'll have to go back and watch. I'll watch the Raw that he comes back on and see, like, maybe for that one he comes back to Cult of or to Kill Switch Engage to kind of like get the fan reaction and but maybe not. Maybe he did just come. I don't know. I do know that. Yeah, either way,
tell us in the comment section. How's that sound?
Yes, please. I know Daniel Nutt-Kreger is usually the great one. He's usually awesome with that kind of stuff. Lets us know right away, gives us the reaches, and usually shows his work too. He's like, I went back here and watched this, and I love that kind of stuff. Please, interaction is fun. I am all for it. I want to be. I try to respond to every comment if I can. It's not something that will be too much for us. So please, by all means, comment. If you feel like you're commenting too much, you're not. I promise you. We love them. So I thought the match. Well, first off, the video package leading up to it was great because they really did use the pipe bomb, and I feel like that was the point too. Where if anybody thought the pipe bomb wasn't scripted or part of the show, come on, that's why they did it. It was great where they used that. But then Punk comes out to the hottest possible crowd. That crowd was insane. It is the I know they call it the Allstate Arena now, but it's the Rosemont Horizon. It's the one with the wooden roof, the one that Stone Cold says was his favorite venue of all time because of how the sound came down. And you really can't hear it in that place. Anytime that WWE goes there, you could just hear, obviously Chicago is a hot crowd and they're a great wrestling city, no matter what Charlotte Flair says. But I feel like that one was even louder because of the scenario and where it was. And that crowd was obviously 100% behind Punk. And when he comes out, there's a giant pop. And then he comes in and does his CM Punk sit down and sits there, waits for, and they held it too. They didn't just have Cena come out right away. They really milked that. There was a great buildup of Punk just sitting there waiting, and then the crowd just
it's Smiley Roberts back there, isn't it?
I have that written. That's why I grabbed this picture, because I love seeing I love seeing Scott Armstrong in there as the referee. But then I honestly forgot that this was Justin Roberts' time with WWE, where he does the announcing. You hear him coming out. I mean, he was a pretty good announcer. I mean, he really was. He kind of got into some of it a little bit too much, but I always liked the guy. I mean, I think with what he does with AEW now, because just like with anybody, there's no reins. Like, they're letting him go too far. I don't think we need to hear the announcer say shit's about to hit the fan or whatever he said. But Smiley Roberts and good old Scott Armstrong. I think he's the older brother of the Road Dogg. I'm not sure. There's 4 Armstrong brothers, and they can kind of get them confused sometimes. But the boos for Cena when he comes out. I mean, they were louder then than they are now for Cena as the 17-time heavyweight champion that's just being the biggest dick he can possibly be. But I thought that was the one thing
that was really noticeable.
Right?
The champion comes out and there's nobody happy to see him. I'm like, all right, well, that's interesting. I figured.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
get into it for Cena.
Yeah.
A few people pop in.
But there's also a lot of signs of people with if Cena wins, we riot. FUC. There was a few signs that I was honestly surprised weren't confiscated or maybe edited out in the modern day, just blur. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I mean, it's 2011, so I mean, it was starting to get into. But still, it was one of those things where the atmosphere really sets it up. Like, I've got a buddy, my buddy Chuck, who lives in Austin. Like, this is one of his, if not his, favorite WWE match. Like, I know when Punk came back, this is one of the things that he talked about of when he wants to show people why he loves wrestling. Like, this is the match that you show. Because, I mean, as we all know, the crowd is a massive part of it. And the crowd is really in for this one from moment to moment with, every time Cena gets him up for the AA and they reverse it, or he almost does the GTS. Like, there's a lot of back and forth. And also too, the commentary, with it's Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and Booker T, which is a really good, I mean, that is a really good trio with how you have, more of a modern legend with Booker, because this isn't too long after the King Booker stuff. But and then you have Lawler in there, and Lawler, this is well after the puppies, woo, hee, ha, like he always was. He was much more, he's still Jerry Lawler, but he's much more into the match, calling it as for wrestling, as opposed to just being a gimmick. Yeah, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, it was an actual commentary.
Yeah. And, and they really are selling it of because Cole even says a couple times, look, I've been CM Punk's biggest fan, but he's crossed a line for me, making it real of how he wants to take the belt and leave. And, Jerry Lawler's talking about how can the fans support this? He's going to leave you and blah, blah, blah. And it's because he's doing it for Chicago. There was good stuff. And I just thought a lot of that commentary was really good. And I feel like that's the thing is with Cole, he always got a bad rap, and a lot of his stuff was cheasy. But when you realize it's
this heel thing he did, that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
If he didn't do a heel commentator gimmick, nobody would say anything.
That's true. And just like anything, just like a lot of things under the Vince regime of that time, not only did it went on way too long. The healing stuff with Jerry, and then the
sat inside a cube, remember?
Yeah, anonymous GM. I couldn't think of the word. The anonymous GM stuff was. We just put that over there in the corner. We try not to think about that one as best you can. But I thought there was a lot of great stuff on the calls. There was a lot of good. I'm not sure if iconic lines is a great word for it, but I thought there was a lot of good stuff. It was funny when I heard Cole at one point does say, Chicago has probably been the best city in the world for WWE. And he puts over Chicago so much. I just thought it was funny how since recently Charlotte put them way under and said it's the worst possible city. And
it was actually nice to see this match, because right now in 2025, you're not going to see these guys do this kind of match again.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's one of the reasons I grabbed this picture.
Going to the third rope and Punk doing what he's doing here in the picture. It just doesn't happen now.
Yeah, no, and there was a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more action. And I mean, they're still milking the crowd and doing more. But I mean, yeah, this is 14 years ago, for God's sake. To make, no, that's, it's really, I'm with you. Like I have that written down too about how it was cool to watch that guy. So I also like in this picture in the bottom left there with the Chicago hate Cena sign, like that really does kind of sell up. Like, and then also too, packed house. I mean, it was a full crowd. It was, I'm assuming it was a sellout.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. I was waiting to see if like Cena was going to call up spots. I didn't see too much. I didn't catch any of them, to be honest with you.
No, I saw there was
like people were like maybe once or twice. Maybe.
Yeah, there was a lot more like whispering in the holds and stuff. Yeah. No, yeah, and I also think that helps with the crowd being a hot crowd and loud the whole time. It can cover some of that. But yeah. But yeah, no, because there are some Cena matches you go back and watch and you're like, Jesus, he really is calling this, and you can hear the whole thing. Yeah, I feel like that's
but they're both in their prime physical.
Oh yeah.
Really, they both look really good. Like they're put together. There's no fat. Their cardio looks good. Everything looks really crisp in this match. I was impressed.
Yeah, and then like the promos leading up to it and stuff. Yeah, they're both really at the top of their game, which is really why they maximize. I mean, they got the most they could out of this match and out of this story. I mean, you've got not only two great wrestlers have a great match, but then you have the whole story with Vince coming out. I thought the ending was great, where
somebody else came out with Vince though.
Right? Yeah. We also, I honestly had completely forgotten about Johnny Ace being part of this match and I swear it's like my brain knows that he was there and part of it, but it's just like compartmentalized that and just thrown it over there. Like it's over the corner. Yeah, no, he did. He did. Yeah, no, he did. But I thought the ending of this was great where Cena comes out and says, no, we're not doing it this way. But the moment he comes back in, gets the GTS, and CM Punk wins the match. I mean, and I also thought the call was great too, where it's like they get the 1, 2, 3, and you have the announcers like, oh shit.
I forgot one little part. Remember when Vince first comes out and he calls for the bell?
Oh yes, well that's yeah. He tries to do it when he's in
the STF.
He's in the STF and he tries to call him out for it. And since that's where Lauren Ice goes to ring the bell. You're right. No, I did forget about that part. Just again, see, Johnny Ace was he's so blocked over there with that Laurinaitis. But you're absolutely right. Because I was thinking more of the stuff that happens coming up where Vince gets on the mic and tries to bring Alberto Del Rio out to cash in his Money in the Bank. I also forgot there was multiple Monies in the Bank. That there was a SmackDown one and
they were really going over the edge.
Yeah, that's talking about I mean, you talk about the gimmick jumping the shark, like Jesus, having two Mr. Money. I mean,
this is that weird Vince too, with the weird hair, and he's not talking too much. And
well, I mean, this wasn't this. I mean, this is after the Benoit death situation, right? That I think. Timing of that, but it's around that time where he's just weird.
I got a kick out of when Punk wins the match and the camera pans to Vince and Vince has this look on his face like, no.
Yeah, like the sad Vince, just like the sad, like the 1,000-yard stare Vince. Yeah, no, and then Punk gets a roundhouse kick on Del Rio's before, so he can't do so he can't actually cash in. And I like how Cole makes sure to say that like multiple times of he never got to cash in. He didn't get to do it there. And then you have this like iconic shot. Like this is one of the most iconic shots of CM Punk. Whoever that I feel like other fans like the Brock Lesnar guy or like the guy who reacted to the Undertaker spot get like far like famous fans. Who's this guy next to Punk?
Yeah, no one knows.
T-shirt, right? Like he's part of one of the most iconic shots in WWE history and like in Chicago wrestling history. But this just, and then Punk runs through the crowd. He runs out and and then he's got the, I should have grabbed it. I just remembered now that he went in and this was like when social media was really taking off and he uploads the picture of the belt in his fridge.
I
just remembered that now. Yeah. Because, which was really leading into the story, and I'm glad you brought up the SummerSlam match because that is what this goes into. Where
They don't know what I brought it up for. I'll tell them. I brought up SummerSlam because I thought Jake wanted me to watch this match instead. So I watched this match and I watched the Money in the Bank match back to back, and I thought you wanted me to watch this one. But
no, yeah, you thought I wanted to watch the SummerSlam match. Well, I mean, those are iconic.
They're both very good.
Yeah, and really they do tie together. So I will now go back and watch the SummerSlam match, and we'll review that one too. We'll tie them all together. It's perfect. But it was really just a great story of how they built that. The only problem is there should have been more time of Punk away with as the quote unquote real champion while Cena had the other belt, and then they had the match. I mean, it would have been a great WrestleMania match, but it was too far out. And it's kind of like the stuff that I've said about with R-Truth, where they used his contract where, it was going to expire, and they used that in the story, whether they did or didn't, whatever. But they did with Punk. Like, his contract was actually expiring on that day, at midnight that night after the pay-per-view. And then, obviously he worked and re-signed the contract and whatever, but it was a great way to use that story. It was just, this was July, and SummerSlam is, August. And if you let that build up with more time, it would have just hit so much harder. But it was still a big moment when Punk comes back at the guy. And then, he's got the belt here, and he's got Cult of Personality, and they have the WrestleMania match. Like, it is awesome, but yeah, it's
very
just
enjoyable. I'm glad you had me watch this one.
Good. Yeah. Well, I thought it was a great one to tie into the stories of what's going on right now. And it's kind of like the reverse in the sense, because obviously for this match in Chicago, Punk was the baby face, but in the real storyline, CM Punk was the heel and Cena was the baby face. And then, I mean, Punk goes on that 434-day title run. Is that I think that's the amount of time for it, but I just know that it was a big moment, big match. And this really is the WWE version of the Summer of Punk. That was the phrase I was trying to come up with. My brain froze there and I couldn't think of it, but yeah, this really was their Summer of Punk. And what they tried to do in AEW, and I really feel like had he not broken his foot like that next day after winning the title, where he broke his foot in LA, I really feel like there could have been like, that was his moment. Like, it never recovered from that. Like, if they'd have pulled that off well at AEW, who knows? There might have been some good out of that. Maybe they would have been able to show, like, hey, if we actually invest time and effort into these stories, look how it gets over. Look at this. And maybe the Buckaroos and their crew would have come around and not ended up in a pissy fight backstage. But we will never know. It's one of those great what ifs of wrestling. But yeah, no, I love this match. I thought this was great. I thought this was, I think that I'm excited to watch the SummerSlam match because you put that over to me off air as well. But to me, I always thought this was the best match Punk and Cena ever had against each other.
I would say, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you watch another match for me. I'm gonna pick mine next when you're done talking here.
No, I was gonna say, I think I'm good. I was gonna ask you if you had anything else of it, or if there's any.
I'm gonna give you my next match one.
All right, I've got my notepad right here. What's next on our list?
The notepad was pretty easy because it was second on my list, and someone recommended it. Shuban recommended it, so we're gonna do Hart versus Perfect 1993 King of the Ring.
Awesome, yeah. Shuban is one of my good friends from England. Lives in London. He's I went over to London in 2017 to watch the Tottenham Hotspur, my favorite soccer team, and he was one of my other friends was like, hey, this is a good person to hang out with, a local to hang out and me with, and we've been good friends ever since. And he credits me for getting him back into wrestling, but because we talked, so I'm excited to do the match that he was looking forward to. So that's freaking awesome.
It was second down for my list.
I was gonna,
I'll just move it up.
Your response to that was great. I figured it was one of those things where I didn't have it on my initial list, but again, it was just the initial list of matches that I had. But I thought about it. I'm like, I bet George probably has it, or it would have been the same thing where either of us would have been like, well, hell yeah, I'll watch that match. So take the audience listening right now, take that for what it's worth. If there's a match you want us to rewatch and review, shoot it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, you'll get to me easier if you go 1990s in there and earlier. You'll get my attention quicker. Let's go with it.
That's right. Yeah. No, and I'm just excited that people are wanting us to be a part of it. So whatever anybody wants to review, I'm down to it. But both of us have a good list. I've got Where's my list right in front of me here? It's got, yeah, I've got 14 matches written down on my initial list that I wrote down. So, and a couple of them I actually just wrote down, like a specific rivalry, but there's like 3 or 4 matches in there. I'm like, which one do we want to watch? And again, as we grow, if we do evolve and there's a big enough of an audience that wants us to, there's a need for or a reason to have a Patreon. That's my first thought, is we can rewatch him live and talk about him and then hear the crowds and, kind of have those experiences. If that's something people are interested in, let us know. We're still trying to grow and figure this out on our own here. So we're happy to take any advice, any tips, any tricks or anything anyone wants to give us. We are here for. So if there's something you guys like, you guys enjoy, stuff you don't like, don't enjoy, let us know. I mean, hey, we're here to be part of the growth. Also want to do a shout out that we've got MJ from NJ coming on Spaces this Sunday. That'll be great. We're excited to have him coming on, and then Marie Shadows the next Sunday. So be on the lookout for those. Come join us 8:05 p.m. Eastern on Twitter, X, Spaces, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but if you miss it live, I've always put the recordings up on YouTube same day. I've got it down to where my turnover rate's 2 hours or less from the time we finish recording. I'm gonna try to knock that down to 90 minutes, but I also do have to eat dinner. So what's up, George? My bad.
MJ was posting on X about something, and I told him, I go, hold it till Sunday, please. Hold it till Sunday.
He's got a lot going on. Well, and depends on which account he's got. One of his accounts, the one with us, the one where you were Mr. 69, but ding, that's just be worried because that was his number of followers. You have to like request to follow him. He doesn't do as many followers on that account. So if it's on that one, that's kind of like the indie kind of promotion, but yeah, it doesn't go to me.
It's just MJ now.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to have him come on. He very much like Dose is someone who is much, much smarter than me, and I love having conversations with people that I can learn things from. One of my favorite all-time quotes is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I very rarely am in the wrong room because I usually am not the smartest person in one. So I'm excited to have him come on. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'm glad we did this match review. This was awesome. Anything else you wanted to talk about, bring up? Any final thoughts?
Nah, we're good, man.
Awesome. Sweet. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for doing this with me here today. I'm excited for our next one. I will go in and I'll watch the SummerSlam match, so we'll get that review as well in. Plus, we've got Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect as well. Hell yeah. Moving forward. So thanks, everybody. Continue listening. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Leave a comment. Let us know. We're here for you. Thanks, everybody. Bye.